Hi, my name's Jack Rutz. I'm a junior medical diagnostics student at the University of Delaware. For my performance piece, I've decided to highlight the issue of wrongful convictions within the Black community as opposed to pinpointing a specific moment in African American history. I hope you enjoy.
On Tuesday, we'll be experiencing a high of 88 with a low of 73 and a 30% chance of precipitation. And that is it for the 7-day forecast, folks. Back to you, Tim.
Thanks for that, Lucy. Now for our next segment, we have a story about a Florida man who was recently exonerated from a 25-year sentence after spending 15 years in a Florida state penitentiary. Daniel Richard, who was convicted of the murder of Suzanne Opal back in the summer of 2005, was recently released upon receiving new evidence regarding the testimonies which ultimately led to the juror's verdict. Here is footage from his release and an interview with Channel 8's Matt Anderson. So just days ago, you were released from what I'm sure must have felt like a death sentence. How has life been since you've been out? To be honest with you, Matt, it's amazing just to finally be free again. I can't complain much there, but it hasn't all been peaches and cream. Things have definitely changed in the past 15 years, and adjusting into this new world has posed some challenges of its own, let's put it that way. What would you say has been the biggest challenge since your release? Well, adjusting into this technological world that we live in has posed a few challenges of its own, but I've also faced some financial issues. The state was supposed to grant me $50,000 for each year I had to spend in the state penitentiary, but I can't even explain how insultingly low that number is in the first place. And if I want to search further financial compensation, I'm going to have to go through this whole process with lawyers and whatnot. Results can vary, and the time restraints on that are fickle, to say the least. Regardless, I haven't let that stop me. In my spare time, I've been learning a lot about people who have been in similar wrongful conviction cases, especially about wrongful convictions and their prevalence in the Black community. Would you mind sharing some of that knowledge with us? For years, decades even, stats for wrongful convictions show about half of the individuals exonerated in the U.S. are African Americans. But African Americans only make up about 15% of the U.S. population according to the census. So, do you realize what that means? That means every time this shit happens, I flip a coin. And every time it lands on heads, some other black guy is gonna get thrown in jail for some shit that he didn't do. That's ridiculous. This is a huge problem in America, and it needs to be stopped. It can be an incredibly rocky road for those dealing with a wrongful conviction, but one of the largest problems associated with these situations is its prevalence in the Black community. An innocent black man is 12 times more likely to be convicted of a felony drug charge, 3.5 times more likely to be convicted of a sexual assault, and 7 times more likely to be convicted of murder than an innocent white man. Every day, more and more innocent individuals get one step closer to becoming exonerated. But it is estimated that about 10,000 individuals are arrested each year for crimes which they did not commit.